This is that strange contraption that lets you see pictures of things as if they're right in front of your eyes. Makes you think. When Mr. Sholmes gleefully showed it to us yesterday, we were blissfully unaware of it, that any of this was all about to happen.
So that big machine in the back is also to view stereoscopic prints,
This?
but then that little one in the foreground, I
Right.
guess,
That's a handheld. This is docked mode, this is handheld mode.
they predicted the Switch all these years ago.
Fairly sure this contraption's here yesterday as well. Here we are, though I'm not confident I can get it closed again.
Oh yes, that's a folding stereoscope.
Really? This is a stereoscope? We just had this camera! Mr. Sholmes showed us a picture yesterday that you were supposed to be able to see in 3 dimensions. But for
Short-term
that,
memory loss.
he used the great big contraption over there.
Give me a sec.
Ah well, that's for use in public houses and places like that. It contains a carousel with all sorts of pictures inside. But this sort of thing is a much simpler design for use at home. There are special shops selling prints you can use in them. I have a little collection myself.
Wonder if I could make money out of these in Japan. It would beat keeping my toilet sparkling clean anyway.
What does that have to do with anything?
You don't keep your toilet clean?
Yeah, but oh, I don't get it. What does keeping your toilet clean have to do with making money selling stereoscopic folding contraptions?
It probably sucks cleaning a toilet more than selling those.
Oh, I guess. Oh, that's such a stretch.
It might have been something just lost in translation, to be honest.
These shelves are here. These shelves are where pawnbrokers put articles that they have been forfeited on display for customers to buy.
Yes, it's really strange miscellany, isn't it? I mean, who would buy this horse statue, for example?
Well, sometimes you can find some real treasures among all the junk, you know. Are you alright, Runo?
Oh, it's just... well, it looks like a collection of useless junk as a whole. When you pick out individual things, you can't help wishing you owned them. Even that horse statue.
That's exactly how the pawnbroker works. They're very clever.
They also probably hedge their bets with taking in an item if they think they're going to sell it or not.
Well, that's why they determine the value, they said.
Yeah.
If it's hard to
So
sell, they're not gonna... it's not
Yeah,
worth
they're not
much.
going to risk it. Yeah.
They're not gonna give you much for it. This officer has been staring intently at the wall since before we came in here. Shh, keep it down! Oh, sorry. There's a major clue just here.
Really? Then we must tell Grexy at once.
As soon as I report it, that'll be it. I'll be stuck here even longer. Stuck here? What do you mean? I haven't been home in 2 days already. I need another constable to relieve me and take over my shift. They really have a tough time, the British police.
Doesn't stop it from Miss Betsy getting down, does it?
No, I suppose not. Fairly sure it was the calendar he was peering at.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Look here. Honestly, I don't know why you have to stare intently at that clue. Like, they should have seen that from across the room.
Oh yes, a bullet hole. And I can see the bullet is still lodged in the wall.
Presumably, Mr. Windibank wasn't practicing with his revolver in his spare time.
Ah, well... Mr. Shows like to practice in his drawing room whenever he can. He's very patriotic like that.
Sorry?
It's all there in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, you know. Isn't that right, Iris? Ah, did I write something like that? Partly in jest, perhaps. In jest? Well, he doesn't do it often. It is quite a dangerous pastime.
He doesn't do it often. He shouldn't even do it once.
Forget that for now, Runo. Let's examine this bullet.
What's that around the bullet hole? Is it blood? A suspicious red stain in the calendar.
Aha! I may well be able to help with that.
What?
There's nothing like the sight of blood to get the blood pumping, is there, Bruno?
Ugh, I have a feeling I'm not as bloody-minded as you, Iris.
I'm afraid the sight of blood makes my blood run cold. There you have it, you see, when it comes to blood, we're all different types.
Yes, what a scientific observation.
So you need this.
Oh no, what is that scary-looking thing?
Haley and I haven't actually come up with a name for it yet. But as you see it in action, you'll understand what it does. Watch. Boop-a-doop-boop.
Oh, the color of the bloodstain has changed. What was that reaction for?
It turns blood green! Okay, I guess. There, does it make sense now?
Yes, I think I'm starting to understand.
Good. It works on the principle that different people have different types of blood, you see? Yes, how wonderful! The chemical that's fired combines with the blood and makes it change color. So you can identify whose blood it is that you're looking at in a flash. Oh, what a fabulous invention, Iris! Isn't it? Isn't it? I bet Ginny would say it was bleeding great.
So, whose blood are we looking at then?
Well, all the chemical does is turn the blood a different color, so... Let's find someone whose blood turns the same color and you'll know who it belongs to. In a flash.
It's more like two flashes, really, isn't it?
One flash or two. This could well turn out to be a very valuable clue. We must take note of it in the court records.
Blood samples portfolio. Different people's blood turn different colors.
Let's keep testing and adding the results of any other blood analysis to the portfolio. So we can do that now?
Currently, we just have green for unknown.
Unknown. Well, the back of the photo had blood on it. Can we do it in the back of the photo?
Let's at least let them finish the conversation. It's awkward enough when we...
As long as I have reagents left, sure.
Actually, there's a stain on the back of that one photograph, isn't there? I think perhaps we should see if that can tell... Perhaps we should see if that can tells us anything.
If that can tells us. If that can tells us.
See if that can tells us anything.
Let's see if that can tells us.
That's not the right piece of evidence. It's this one, right? Yeah.
Mr. Naruhodo, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's something rather troubling here.
I have noticed.
The red smear, you mean?
Yes, it looks like blood, doesn't it? Wonder if Suzato-san had picked up on that. Well, in that case,
Yes, we need Iris.
we should show this to her before we forget.
So now we have to go to the blood thing? Oh, we gotta present it.
We have to show it to her.
That looks like blood. She already
Well, we
knew
know
that.
how much you like blood, Iris. I would say it's from a gloved finger, almost certainly a glove made of leather.
Well, don't worry, Bruno. You can leave the rest to me. Boop. Purple.
Look at that.
Yes, that's a color we haven't seen before, isn't it?
It's Grimace's blood.
We
That's
must
a
add it to the portfolio of blood samples. It could be an important clue.
that's a deep cut for any of you old enough to know who Grimace is.
I prefer the McNugget gang. Is that what they were?
Oh, I don't know. I know
Oh,
Ronald, Grimace, and the
the
Hamburglar.
Hamburglar.
And that's about all I know.
Although it would be nice to find out whose blood these different colors correspond to at some point.
This particular stain of blood.
Oh, you've got an idea, haven't you?
Hey there, cool name. I mean, I have no idea what color your blood is, but welcome.
Do you know whose blood it is?
I think I do.
Yes, I have an idea whose blood it is. Not from the color it turned, but with a little deduction.
That's right. I think it's clear. Iris, you know as well. You first, Reno. Who do you think it belongs to?
Alright, I believe this is the blood of...
Thrice-fired Mason.
Thrice-fired Mason.
You don't sound very sure of yourself the way you trailed off there.
Well, it was 2 months ago, that case. And of course I'd never met the victim, so I'm struggling to remember his name. He was definitely thrice fired, though.
A victim of the omnibus case? Yes, his name was indeed Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. That would mean that this blood stain was left on the ticket 2 months ago.
Yes, I think it was. Gina brought this ticket here to Windibanks yesterday. I was suggesting that the bloodstain was already on it at the time.
So it's a smear of blood from the time that Mr. Mason was killed 2 months ago. Something else is coming back to me now. Mr. McGilded was also wearing leather gloves that night.
Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. It certainly does look like a leather-gloved thumbprint, this mark. We know that Mr. McGilded had no injuries at the time anywhere on his body, for which we can conclude that any blood on the glove belonged to the victim, Mr. Mason.
Mr. Naruhodo, you sound just like Mr. Sholmes.
Minus the quirky slip-ups, I hope.
Yes, I think you're right, Runo. Very well, let's make a note of it.
Tickets updated. Portfolio's updated. Coolin says, if he was trying to stop the bleeding, would there have been more blood on the glove? I mean... yeah, probably. I don't... we don't know that he was telling the truth, so...
I mean, also from Gina's description of her hands being covered in his blood just from sitting next to him, like, there must have been a lot more blood than was shown in that image.
I mean, her original testimony, whether it was all lies or partly true, she said that her hands got covered in blood because the body fell on her at one point when the carriage hit a, like, bump. And she had to push it off of her. Which could have still happened.
I guess so.
Does this have something else? I'm gonna assume it doesn't. Even though it's not a check mark.
Behind that door. The storeroom, isn't it? That's what Gregsy said.
You sound tired, Iris.
Oh, I haven't gotten much sleep. Making all these food for all these random guests that Gregsy keeps inviting.
Why would Gregsy invite them?
Because he wants to make a good scene. Wants to make a good impression on Iris. Like, this is the person that does the forensic studies, Iris. Isn't that cool?
Aw, Okay.
Iris is like, yeah.
Yes,
She has to cook for him.
that's where I saw that dreadful scene last night. Yeah, cool name, poor Gina. Through the little window in the door.
Banana, Fina. Fee, fi, momina. Gina.
Mr. Winterbank face down on the floor, with Gina beside him.
As the accused legal representative, you have the right to examine the scene, Mr. Naruhodo. We must make a thorough investigation.
Yes, of course, and we will. Behind that door, that's the real scene of the crime.
Don't worry, if there are clues in there, I'll find them.
Is the move? Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
Mario!
Wow.
I'm a wiener. Ellipses.
Poor Iris. She's clammed up completely.
Blood made your blood boil. Iris is bound to find this difficult. After all, Mr. Winterbank's life was taken in this very room only last night.
Ah! Wait, Inspector. Where is it now, Sunshine? You took one look at me and tried to run away. You think a Scotland Yard inspector would run away from some jumped-up little defense lawyer, do you? Quilner says, when do we get to thoroughly examine Von Zeeks? That you could do on your own time. I've never seen her ladyship looking like that before, this thing. I didn't know what to say to her. You're running away from me, you're running away from a 10-year-old.
I'm afraid this is all a little much for young Iris. Some gentle reassurance might go a long way, perhaps, Inspector.
Eh? Don't trouble yourself unduly, your ladyship. I mean, at least you're not dead, are you? I don't think that went very well. Why? Look, I'm in the middle of an investigation here, Sunshine. I told you not to get under my feet.
And we have investigating to do ourselves.
Like, the exact way to comfort a child that's trying to be faced with, like, the death of a person they know. At least you're not dead.
At least you're not dead.
Yeah, Coolney's not very good with kids. Yes, I'd like to hear more of what the socially inept inspector has to say.
Barely.
Inquire into how Mr. Sholmes' operation is going. So, Inspector, what do you make of the crime scene here? Pshaw, you guys, have you? Use them. It is what it looks like, nothing more, nothing less. Iris, could you lend me a hand?
That she was distraught.
Just for the sake of the investigation, she's faking it.
So, Gregsy, what do you make of the crime scene here?
The cool name said not only is it a death of someone she knows, they all think a friend of hers did it, and her father figure has been wounded. Yeah, that is true. It's a lot for her. Oh yes, your ladyship. Do allow me to humbly explain. Last night, shortly after the hour of 1 o'clock in the morning, Scotland Yard police attended the scene. The one and only door to the storeroom was found locked from the inside. So it was locked from the inside.
The lock appears to be broken now, though. What's that the police officers doing?
Quite right, ma'am, quite right. We took the liberty of smashing the door in, as humbly as possible.
Oh.
As you can see, the victim was discovered prostrate on the floor, thuswise. And next to the aforementioned body, we found the vile gutter child.
Are you talking about Ginny? She's my friend, you know, Inspector.
Miss Lestrade, the helpless girl, was curled up on the floor, dead to the world. She's still alive, you know. Yes, when I saw her, she appeared to be unconscious. Afraid to say, she had the gun that was used in her hand.
Oh.
Presumably, it's the gun that's still down there on the floor now. In her pocket, we found the key to the door as well. What? The key to the storeroom?
And you say the storeroom had been locked from the inside, Inspector?
A cool name, you're playing Animal Crossing and someone sent you the statue David? Nice. Correct. All of which leaves her ladyship's friend. In something of a sticky situation, I'm afraid. Obviously, my personal opinion is that's some sort of misunderstanding. Of course it is, Inspector, of course it is.
Eggsy, do you know anything about Hurley? Is the operation finished? Is Hurley alright? Is he?
Well, the thing is,
Don't mince your words, Inspector, please! You don't mean to say that Mr. Holmes is...
No, the operation's done and dusted. It's just that, well...
Out with it!
Yes, ma'am. They use something called a general anesthetic. It's the latest thing, renders the whole body insensitive. The whole body? Anesthetize? Is that even possible?
Anesthetize was the correct way to say that.
That was just RuneScape doesn't know how to say it. I swear.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. My mistake.
It means the operation will be completed while the patient is fast asleep.
I mean, I am surprised that Ryonosuke would be able to extrapolate anesthetize from general anesthetic. Like, I don't think that's like a very...
Goodness, in the Empire of Japan, we can just manage to provide laughing gas for a tooth extraction.
The trouble is, the latest thing isn't always the greatest thing, if you follow my meaning. They couldn't get the medication to work at first, so it took hours for them to nod off, or so I hear. And now the op's finished, they can't get him to wake up, apparently.
Oh my.
No one knows if the anesthetic's still in the system, or if the bloke's just plain exhausted. But anyway, all they can do is stand back and watch till it comes around again.
Lee?
Coolman said, unlike most kids' games they did not give him a leaf, as friends look out for it. Since the statue David was kind of the first naked man you ever seen. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm aware that in Animal Crossing they don't actually censor him. It surprised me the first time I saw it. The moment he opens his eyes, your ladyship, I swear I shall get word to you. What a surprise, even in matters of life and death, Mr. Sholmes has to do things his way. Okay, well, now to examine. Out of all the articles in the storeroom, this is the only thing that shows any sign of being ransacked. Guess what? Nope.
I am exclaiming my surprise.
What is it, Iris? We didn't get that either. We got half of that. We got that.
That's
Maybe like move the mic a little. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
I can currently hear you.
That's the music box file. That's the box file that my manuscript is being kept in.
Oh,
Iris's unpublished story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. Surely that's not what all this is. Yeah, cool name. It's not very detailed, but the fact that's there is indeed shocking. I agree.
Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. We must check inside the box at once. Yes.
Ah. Oh, that's probably one of you.
Ah, it was there. Iris's story was there.
Really, it was. That's good news, isn't it, Iris?
Yes. I mean, of course, I believe Hurley when he said he deposited here, but still. It's a relief to actually see it.
Really? Because it's not very well hidden frown. Can we read it right now? The entire story?
yeah.
The Hound of the Baskervilles. How does Hisada-san know the exact title of this unpublished story? Suppose I just have to wait until she's ready to explain it to me.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's all to examine. What else is here? Look at all these articles that have been deposited. The room is stuffed full of them.
I can't believe how many there are. A bicycle, a gramophone, musical instruments, even some enormous paintings. Look!
Pieces of different people's lives quietly gathering dust in here together. There's something very peaceful about the atmosphere in here. Or at least there would be if not for the chalk outline on the floor and the policeman shuffling around. Not much I could do about that, Sunshine. The policeman marked the position of the body with a chalk line. I don't know, cool name, if that The Hound of the Baskervilles is gay fanfic of Herlock and Dr. Wilson, but I'm guessing it is not.
Poor Mr. Windibank. He was such a nice old man.
Well, he was shot just once through the heart. Most likely the fellow died instantly. He wouldn't have felt a thing. This must be his blood then. We got that.
I don't like to ask in such a wretched time, Iris, but I wonder if perhaps... Don't worry, Susie. I'm ready for action.
Does Iris have two dads? I mean, she's made it clear that that Herlock is not her dad, so... In fact, he doesn't really act very parental for her.
So now we know the color the chemical turns when it reacts to Mr. Windibank's blood. Well, it doesn't match our analysis of the blood stain we found in the main shop. No, but let's add this sample to the others we've already collected anyway.
I guess she's kind of the dad in their relationship. Cool name. This is a revolver, a real one.
Quite possibly the murder weapon used to take Mr. Winterbank's life. What's the matter, Susie? You and Bruno look like you're about to faint. Well, it's just that I've rarely seen a gun in the flesh.
And I've had issues with guns in the past. But anyway, we saw Mr. Winterbank with us yesterday, didn't we?
I shall have to take my own life.
Must have been the same gun. And last night, when I looked through the spy hole in the door to the storeroom here, there was the same gun I saw in Gina's hand.
Mr. Winterback told us he only ever had a single bullet loaded in his revolver, didn't he? Well, it's empty now. The one and only bullet he had in his gun has been fired.
So we can be fairly certain that only a single shot was fired from this revolver. I guess examine this here. Iris?
Don't worry, I'm alright. But we must find the true culprit. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, oh, maybe we have to show up something. What do you think we show him?
My impression of a microwave? Was that good?
What do you think we should show him?
No! The forensic blood things? Yeah,
Blood
the
samples?
blood sample portfolio?
Inspector Gregson, could you give me an opinion about this, do you think?
We don't tend to share sunshine, not with the general public.
Okay.
In that case, Gregsy, how about some herbal tea?
He has his pinky out when he does this.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank very much. That really hit the spot, your ladyship.
Don't mind sharing that then.
The blood, the photo with the blood on it. I don't know what would be relevant for him to see. The
I don't know
transcript?
what would be relevant, but it sounded like we had to show him something.
the manuscript doesn't make sense. Like, there's nothing about the manuscript that would be relevant. But what else is there? The Gina's representation papers? That doesn't. He already saw that. That's why we were allowed to check things out.
Yeah. Does anyone else get grossed out on Gregson eats his fish and chips so greasy? No, I just wish that I could eat them.
Yeah.
I can't really have much fried food. It just looks so delicious, though. I love fried fish and chips.
There's this really nice place where we're from that has this amazing fish and chips, or fish fry, if you will, in America.
From London?
No, in America.
Oh, you're from America. Interesting.
That's where I'm gonna tell people that I'm from.
I should try anything else, or
I mean, we tried everything at this point, didn't we? We haven't tried the armband.
we tried half the things. We tried these 3 things.
I mean, let's make the rounds. Manuscript, go. Manuscript.
Is that what I think it is? Your ladyship's latest.
It's not her latest story. She wrote it a long time ago.
Well, only some months ago.
Yeah, but she's written novels since.
Has she?
Yeah, she literally just talked about her. She already published another one.
Either way, this is her talking.
I guess so.
Yes, my latest story. It's called The Hound of the Baskervilles.
Most fascinating title, your ladyship. Fascinating. And, I don't suppose... Would there be any mention of my humble self in the tale this time?
Good question. I can't really remember.
I see. Well, why would you, your ladyship? I'll just await its publication with eager anticipation.
Need a worry, Inspector. I'm sure if you do appear, you won't be doing anything particularly remarkable.
Oof.
You're looking to be arrested, Sunshine.
I was gonna say, that was very insulting.
I didn't mean it like that, and even if I did, you wouldn't have bitten her ladyship's head off, would you? That didn't seem relevant. The only reason I was suspicious is if you let your concentration slip, you might miss what people say.
Well, have we spoken to him yet?
Yes,
Technically?
we have all the check marks.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we did everything that was relevant in this room.
That doesn't seem like it has anything. Oh, should we check the hospital again?
Maybe, but he'd be asleep. He's not even in
Nope.
his bed. Prison's not gonna be.
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
Baker Street.
Yeah, seems different than normal today. Oh, look at that carriage.
It's to the Scotland Yard carriage outside Windibanks.
I never imagined we'd be investigating a case so close to home.
So this one that is not out yet, so the fan would be her latest. Yeah, to the fan would be her latest because not published yet. I agree, cool name. Poor Iris, she's very upset by all this. I'm sorry, I was there. I should have done more.
None of this is your fault, Runo, so please don't apologize.
But
It's the criminals who are to blame for all this, so let's investigate and work out how to catch them.
yes, you're right.
And in a turn of temporal paradox, the latent anything agency is around the corner.
It's already been 2 months that we've been taking lodgings here above Mr. Shum's office. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things to turn out like this.
When Hurley comes back home, let's have a big party.
That's a great idea. I'm sure it won't be long. Mr. Shums is very tough.
Yes.
Yeah, there was nothing here.
Irrelevance. Yeah, maybe there's. I don't know. No.
I know that we didn't get the check mark here because it changed after we...
Yeah, check it
the
again, I
evidence,
guess.
Green blood. It just seems wrong somehow.
Oh, there are all sorts of different colors. There are pretty pinks and purples, too. Like I said, everyone's blood's different.
Wonder what color my blood would turn out. Actually, I don't want to know.
I think it'd be fun. Prick your finger a little bit and have Iris, like, sploosh.
But what
Get all
if
the
she
different
really
colors.
likes the color of your blood?
Oh, you're right.
Okay, that didn't... Fine, we have two things we haven't shown him.
The armband. Nope.
Inspector, what do you make of this?
Oh, yeah, actually.
What have we here then? Redemption ticket for an article deposit here, is it?
What?
Looks like someone ran out of the office stationery and wrote the ticket on whatever paper was at hand.
Why is this only working for this one version of it? The two things are the same thing.
No, they're completely different redemption tickets. One's
Oh,
for
are
the
they?
coat and one's for the little box.
Oh, I thought they were the same thing.
No. Cool names are not in Danganronpa, they all have pink blood.
I have yet to get to Danganronpa.
Yes, this is the ticket from McGilda's overcoat, the one that little driver turned up with yesterday.
Oh, actually, no, it's not.
Really? Think you know better than me, do you?
No, I didn't mean to,
Bruno's right, Gregsy. This isn't the same ticket.
See, I was just on Gregsy's side.
Of course it is, of course it is. I never doubted you, ladyship. So what's all this about then, if I may be so bold as to ask?
This is a second ticket.
Well, the second one.
Seems that Mr. McGilda, in fact, had another article in storage here at Winterbanks.
Is that right?
I think we need to discuss this further with the inspector, Mr. Naruto.
Who could, because he's ever so easy to talk to. This ticket was in one of the pockets of Mr. McGilda's overcoat.
Eh? You mean to tell me?
Yes, there was more than just a music box disc, it seems.
You took evidence with you?
Humph. I should have insisted on the lads taking it back to the yard and examining it properly.
Well, according to the details on this ticket, Mr. McGilda deposited another article here with Mr. Winterbank.
Yes, I can see it's written here. Small box, was it?
Do you have any idea where it is, Gregsy? Any idea at all? It's another article belonging to Mr. McGilda. It could be an important clue.
Well, yes, I suppose it could be. Please, stop looking at me with those big turquoise eyes all full of hope and expectation. It's too much pressure. I'll lose my marbles, I will. I'll go barking.
Crunch, crunch.
It's no time for dog impressions, Spectre.
That's a little sauce from you, sunshine. There is one thing that springs to mind. According to this ticket, the redemption deadline's already passed, hasn't it?
Oh, yes, of course. Articles are only held for 2 months.
Colin says, anyway, luckily this court system never heard of conflict of interest. Clearly.
So the small box is no longer here, then?
That's right, it's been forfeited.
Which means it could be on the shelves in front of the shop where the forfeited items are offered for sale.
Yes, the shelves in the front. We must search out them at once.
You're wasting your time.
Oh.
There are dozens of little boxes out there, hundreds even. Can't possibly know which one might have been McGilda's. That information not written in the ledger.
Ugh.
But I think we should at least have a look, just in case.
Of course, your ladyship, of course. Very sensible of you, I'm sure.
This is getting old. Dong. 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 Okay, have a good night, Cool Name. Thank you for stopping by. Iris?
Nearly jumped out of my skin there. How can Mr. Winterbank set such a wicked trap?
I doubt he set out to scare anyone.
Is that really the time? I think perhaps we should pay Gina another visit soon.
Oh?
Well, trial's tomorrow. We must establish whether or not you will be defending her. I think we should ask her one more time. She may have changed her mind. Don't you remember, Reno? You told her she could rip up the representation papers if she didn't want you to be a lawyer.
Really? Did I say that?
Yes, you did. The deadline for submitting the paperwork is fast approaching.
In that case, we'd better hurry back to the prison and talk to Gina again. So jail?
Prison. Gina, Bobina, banana, nana, Bobina.
Cell 13. Gina, good. You're back.
Ah! The police must have finished questioning her then. Oh, how was it, Ginny? Was it awful? Oh, didn't bother me.
Thank you for the papers you signed before. It meant we were able to investigate at Windibanks.
Oh, right. Don't you want to know how we got on? We've been ever so busy. What's the point in asking? Won't change what everyone's saying that I did it. That's not...
Gina, we came to ask for a final decision.
What decision?
About tomorrow's trial. Will you let me defend you at that?
I must submit the paperwork now if you'd like Mr. Naruhodo to represent you. Right, I see.
Really lost her fight all of a sudden. I know what that feels like. The worry is just so hard to bear.
Oh, all right then, blimey. Give it the rest with the eyes, Iris. So come on then, fill us in. Who done it?
Unfortunately, we don't know that yet.
You don't say. We don't know yet, Gina. But Mr. Naruhodo and all of us know that you are innocent of this crime.
And we haven't yet managed to work out who the real culprit is. There are a number of interesting facts that we have managed to establish.
What?
Oh, we missed like all of that.
Oh yeah? Like what?
There we go. Well, for example, the reason for you being there in the first place. I think I know now why you broke into Windibanks that night. Looks like I'm going to have to take some evidence that clearly reveals the reason.
Is that really?
And thrust it in Gina's face. Or I could present it to her calmly, I suppose. Is what really?
I didn't realize that this was a point of contention. Like, it's pretty clear why she broke into Windibanks.
Why?
Because she wanted to show Mr. Windibanks Renosuke's armband.
No, I want to know your theory.
That's you genuinely want me to know? Do you want me to tell you? Oh, she went to check the manuscript because she wanted to prove to what's her face, and she knew that Iris wouldn't do it. So she went and did it because she's already urchin, right? So she doesn't mind dirtying her hands a little bit for her friend.
She doesn't have friends, though. And from her point of view.
Yeah. We already have the representation papers and other documents we need.
All we have to do is hand them to the court clerk. That is, if you allow me to represent you in court tomorrow.
Nah, don't bother. Ginny! Rip them up and chuck them, would ya? Them representation papers or whatever they're called. The sale ain't fancy enough to ever been.
So, what will you do in court tomorrow?
I'll be fine on me own. I don't think you will be. Look, it don't matter. What's gonna happen is gonna happen.
This is one stubborn pickpocket. Okay. What are we gonna show her?
The manuscript? I said the armband, but
Found this in Mr. Windibank's storeroom. The manuscript of Iris' latest story.
ah, oh, right. Well, that's good then.
Curiously, the storeroom at Windibank showed no sign of being ransacked for items of value or the like. With one exception. The box file that housed this manuscript. It was you, wasn't it, Gina, who broke open the box containing this manuscript last night?
Eh?
You were determined to find out whether or not the Hound of the Baskervilles was really there. That's the real reason you broke into the storeroom last night, isn't it? Close enough.
Ah! Ah!
Why don't you tell us what happened, please?
If we ever get merch, it's just gonna be me screaming into a microphone
With nothing coming out.
with nothing coming out, just an empty text bubble. All right, yeah. This Baskerville story, it's the latest Sherm's adventure, right? But it ain't been printed yet. So I figured it's gonna be worth a few pieces of silver, right? Oh yes, at least 5,000 pounds. What?
So you intended to sell Iris' manuscript, did you?
That's how much Suzato will be willing to pay for it. That's why she knows the value of it. No, Ginny, how could you? Well, wait, no, hang on. Of course I wasn't gonna sell it. All I wanted to do was find out if this manuscript or whatever you call it was really there or not. That's the only reason I was in the first place. For Iris' sake, isn't that right? Ah!
We knew why you'd done it from the start, Gina. Of course we did.
But I knew you wouldn't do anything mean like that, Ginny. I just knew it. Well,
When I saw the manuscript in the storm, it reminded me of what you said the night before.
grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. Bare-faced liars, a lot of them. Just ain't realized it yet.
Oh, Shady. Okay, yeah. What did you miss?
Here, I got it. Last time on
Oh, he meant this
Phoenix
time.
Wright. This time on Ace Attorney Chronicles, we meet our intrepid gang after having Gina Lestrade. Basically, we got her to sign papers to say that we were going to represent her just so we can investigate. Sherlock is still unconscious because he was anesthetized, and basically what's going on right now is we're figuring out that Gina went into Windibanks that night to check to see if the manuscript was there for her friend, and she's being real tsundere and doesn't want to be represented in court. Magnus McGill bribed her, blackmailed her to tell for the case of Thrice Fired Mason all the way at the beginning of the game, to not say anything other than what he wanted specifically to say.
I wouldn't say the third case is the beginning of the game. It was the midway point.
It's the midway point of the game, the beginning of us being in England, and he also put in a book, music box. We don't know if it's a music box yet, but it's a music box. And Iris has the ability to change people's blood to be a particular color, which is going to be relevant in the case. We've already established that.
You make it sound like you make it sound like the supernatural ability. It's a gun she's developed.
She has her gun. Her gun has a bomb that makes blood turn a specific color depending on the person. But Windibank's blood is blue. There was blood in the main pawnbrokery that was purple. No, that was green. And one of the claim tickets had purple blood that was Thrice Fired Masons. And now we went back to Gina to verify whether she wanted us to defend her or not. She keeps saying no, and I think it's because it would implicate the two people whose shadows we saw. They were actually just street urchins that followed her, and she doesn't want to get them in trouble. But I think that's it.
You missed one kind of big thing. Susato is going.
Oh, yeah.
Susato's father, Professor Mikotoba, who we met in the first case, has fallen ill about a week ago, and she has to go back to Japan. In the following day, she leaves in the morning.
Yeah, tomorrow morning she has to go to get there because it takes 50 days to get to Tokyo, and everybody thinks it's for the best for her to leave as soon as possible because he hasn't gotten better since he got the fever.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's about everything.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that Manta script ain't a Windibanks. You'd soon see if you had a look.
No problem, JD.
If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. I mean, did I sometimes wonder if he may have hidden my manuscript somewhere I don't know? Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Oh, Ginny, that's so sweet of you. All right. I'll tell you what, I did it. Just stop looking at me like that, Iris. It weren't because of Iris. That's not why I did it. I just wanted to know the truth, that's all. You wanted to know if Mr. Sherman was being honest, if he'd really deposited the manuscript at Windibanks. It's like I told you the night before. Grown-ups are liars, blah blah blah. I've never had a father. But Iris's lot ain't like mine. She's got a dad, only she can't see him. Yikes.
Ooh, Achimachi.
I mean, that's not wrong. She can't see him.
Deceased.
She might see him if Maya was here, but...
Oh no! I don't need any more spirit conjuring and spirit possessions.
And I reckon that gotta be Ada. Ellipses? That's why she writes her stories. They're about her dad, really. That's what it sounded like to me anyways. Last night when I was listening to what you were saying. Stories? About Daddy?
You mean they're not the adventures of a great detective, so much as the adventures of a great detective and his trusty partner?
And one can say that about the Sherlock Holmes novels. They're really about Watson.
Yeah.
But that's how I see it, yeah. You're so thoughtful and so kind, Ginny. Yes, and we never thought any differently, did we? Look, give it a rest, will ya? I ate all this chummy nonsense, dear. I ate it. I don't trust no one, right? That's how I work. 'Cause if you don't trust no one can let you down. So leave me alone. Go on, Scarpa.
I hadn't noticed until now, but it's unmistakable. Right there on both sleeves of that overcoat. There's some very suspicious red stains.
Blood.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
I think it might be worth presenting some of our other findings in that area to Gina now.
Present the blood analysis papers. Blood sample photos.
The stains in the sleeves of your new coat, Gina. They're blood, aren't they? Not that I would know whose blood yet.
What? Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I missed the blood, but
Bleh.
you don't appear to have any obvious wounds yourself, though. So could it be blood that splattered from Mr. Winterbank when he was shot last night?
Let's not beat around the bush here. This trusty friend of mine will get results much faster than anything else. Take it easy, Iris. Don't move, Ginny. I'm going to shoot.
Blood. It's purple.